Today, I offer gratitude for all of my teachers and all of the experiences that have led to my evolution. My name is Jax, and this is Eagle's View. The biggest theme of my journey so far has been learning to listen to my intuition and trust it without question. That has been something that I've been challenged with, that I've noticed in doing self-development work and my self-discovery journey. Every experience points to that theme: listening to your intuition and trusting it. It has taken me quite a while to realize that my intuition and my inner guidance are here to support me, and that it's for my best interest. Like, they are allies, they aren't adversaries, they are friends. And to really have the courage to just trust them, to be able to recognize when it's my intuition trying to guide me away from something, and also when it's my ego, when it's something else, when it's fear that's trying to guide me away from something that would be beneficial for me. But learning to trust my intuition, let me just tell you, it's very interesting for me, because I always know ahead of time. Like, it's not that I'm not getting the messages. It's not that I wasn't getting the signals, getting the warnings. It's that I was blatantly ignoring them. Literally, in any sort of connection, friendship, romantic relationship, even a job, I would know very soon on whether or not this connection would be reciprocal, whether or not it would be beneficial, whether or not we are aligned, and if it would be something that would be beneficial for my journey. There were different reasons that I stayed in these connections. Sometimes it was displaced loyalty. I had more loyalty for the individual that I was in a connection with than I did for myself. Other times it was fear, other times it was some other egoic reason as to why you would stay in something that full and well is not for you. I remember a particular friendship. I was in this friendship, in this cycle with this person for many years, but I knew very early on I was in my 20s, very early 20s. And this young lady was having a birthday party. And it was my intent to go to the birthday party. At the same time, though, I was moving into my first apartment, a very exciting time for me. And she volunteered to come and help me move some of my things, which in retrospect, I see that it was a manipulative behavior that she was doing there. But she came to help me move some of my things. And she was under the impression, though, that I was definitely coming to her birthday dinner. And that's the reason why she decided to come and help me. It wasn't just because, oh, let me help you. It's because I scratch your back, you scratch mine, sort of thing. So we moved some of my things. I'm very excited about my first apartment. And she would make these comments to downplay anything that I found exciting. For me, it was exciting. It was my first apartment. For her, oh, I've been on my own since whenever. Like, no big deal. I would always, just kind of brush that off. Take note of how she would do that, but then I would brush it off instead of act on it. Instead of cut that and move on, I would just kind of brush it off. You know how you may have said, that's just how they are. So anyway, we did some shopping. We went to a few little shops around to burn some time and things like that. And the evening was coming. She left to go and get ready for her party. And my mom actually called me. Now, it was my intent to go to this party, but my mother called and was like, hey, I can help you finish moving the rest of your stuff. If you're ready to do it, we can do it right now while I have the energy. And so obviously I'm like, okay, great. I have help to do what I need to do. And it's something that I want to do. Of course I'm going to do it. So, I tell this girl, hey, I'm likely not going to be able to come to your dinner. And I tell her why. And in the moment, she's just like, oh, okay. And it's like, okay, bye. And then, the dinner passes. I did not go. And maybe a few days later, we were chatting on the phone and she's expressing her disgust about how many people were unable to come who said that they would come. And I'm just kind of like, well, things come up. Because if I remember correctly, somebody couldn't come. They had some issue with their tires for their car. And she's like, well, how long did they know? And it's like, what? And so it comes around to where she's like, well, you didn't come either. And I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't. And the conversation continues. And at some point I'm like, why does it matter though? Because it's your birthday. So why does it matter who's able to come and who's not? It doesn't take away from the fact that you're celebrating your birthday. Which, where I am right now, birthday, I feel like we only have one birthday. So why are we celebrating that every single year? That already came. Anyway. Her response to me was, so you're trying to tell me that if you had a party for your birthday or you had a dinner for your birthday and I didn't come, that you wouldn't care? And I was like, no. I mean, sure, would I love for you to come and help me celebrate? Yeah. But is it going to make or break my birthday? No. And her response was, well, if you have a party next year, I'm not coming, because her birthday is like a week or so after mine. And so she's like, if you have a party next year, I'm not coming. And it's like, okay. Like, I knew right then, even before then, that this is not the sort of friendship that I want to be in. This isn't something that supports my ideal of what a friendship is. We don't do things just because we want to be able to say that we did them, or with any sort of expectation, because that's not how I as a person move through life. If I do something for you, I do it because I want to do it, not because I want you to do something for me in return. At least that's what I told myself, that's how I was in friendships. In a romantic partnership, it seems different, but that is how I was in friendships. And I knew that this was not going to be a good connection. And yet I spent another, maybe 10 years or so being in this frenemy sort of cycle with this girl, picking up on every single time where I tried to share something with her and she tried to downplay what I was sharing and elevate herself. How she would make snarky comments and things like that. Like, I knew. And it wasn't until something very challenging, I experienced something very challenging in losing a child, and her response and behavior in that situation was the straw. None of the other stuff, none of anything else was the straw, but that was the straw that made me cut it off cold turkey. I'm done. And even through all of it, I am grateful for that teacher, because all along the lesson that the experience with her was trying to teach me was to listen to my inner guidance and trust it, to be loyal to myself more than I'm loyal to any perceived friend or any ideal or anything, anyone outside of myself. To be loyal to me first, to value what I'm saying, value what my soul has to say. That was a powerful lesson, and I'm grateful for that. Sure, I could make myself the victim, but am I a victim? When you're a willing participant, are you a victim? I don't believe so. The same sort of thing is true in work. I have had jobs that I've absolutely hated. I did not like going to the job. I did not like the work that I was doing. Of course, it didn't feel fulfilling. It wasn't satisfying. And they weren't paying me enough that I felt I could live very comfortably off of. And yet, this one particular job that I'm thinking of, I had gotten so comfortable in the routine of it that it took the universe flipping over the table on me and me getting fired from that job while I was on vacation celebrating a birthday. I was turning 30. I was celebrating my birthday. First of all, they didn't really give us the opportunity to have paid time off or vacation time. Oh my goodness, they worked us over 40 hours a week, but then didn't want to pay overtime. It was wild, but that's where I was in life. And so I had given proper notice, hey, I'm going on vacation. I'm not going to be here for these days. Like, they literally did not want anybody taking off during the work week. It was madness to me. But I went through the proper channels to set up being off. I went on vacation. I want to say I went to Vegas. My mom and a couple of friends, actually one of them was the girl I just told y'all about. And that was, my goodness. I'm on vacation, having a good time, and I get back, and the evening before I'm supposed to be returning to work, I get a call from the manager, I guess you could call him, saying, oh, we don't need you to come back. And it's like, what? Yeah, while you were gone, we had someone else come in and we're just going to go with them. So we'll have to schedule some time for you to come and pick up your belongings. And I'm just like, is this some sort of joke? No, it wasn't a joke. And sidebar, They didn't give me a 2-week notice before firing me. That's the only job that I can remember ever being fired from. I was laid off from a job like with hundreds of other people, but being fired, that was the one and only time that that has ever happened. And I assure you, they did not give me a 2-week notice. So do with that what you will. But you know, this mindset of, oh, you're not being fair to your employer if you don't give them 2 weeks and give them time to get someone to fill your space. I even gave a job almost 2 months notice that I'd been at for 8 years, and that wasn't really appreciated. So I'm not telling you to just quit, or when you decide you want to move, to just move with no apologies. But so anyway, my thoughts were kind of like, okay, so what am I supposed to be doing now? Now, I had been filling out applications sporadically because I would have these influxes of feeling very aggravated and annoyed with the job and being like, that's it, I can't do this anymore, I gotta find me something else, right? So I would fill out applications and send them off, and a couple of them I had gotten invited to do an interview and I didn't do it. Why? Fear came in, the not wanting to be uncomfortable. I guess I wasn't uncomfortable enough. I hadn't met my threshold yet, but I wouldn't act. It's like subconsciously I knew that I had to act, but consciously I couldn't bring myself to do it. And so the universe had to do it for me. And I really had no clue what my next move was going to be. And so I had filed for unemployment, and they actually tried to fight me on it and say that they fired me for something like essentially because I wasn't doing my job. And I'm like, oh no, we're not gonna do that. Like, I actually had to have a conversation with the lady from the government office and tell her what was really going on. And she was like, oh no, they can't do that. And so they ended up having to pay me unemployment. And it was really wild because I had another job before I even had the first payment from them. I already had another job. So let's just say I was fired from them, and this was at the beginning of a week, a Monday. Let's say by that Friday, I had another job with a much bigger and more established company. I was making way more coming in than I was making at this job. I had benefits. I had vacation time. Like, it's like the universe had to say, okay, you know what you need to do and you're not going to do it. So we have to do it for you. That's really not the funnest way to experience. But that job was also trying to teach me the importance of listening to my intuition and trusting it. Because who knows, one of the other jobs that I was invited to come and interview and meet with them could have been even better than the one I ended up with. We'll never know because I didn't go to the interview. And then I was with this particular gentleman that I knew from the very beginning would not be a good fit. And yet, I ignored all of the flags. I ignored this flashing neon sign that said, "Do not go this route." And I did it anyway. And it was the most challenging and the most pivotal experience. It was like the coup de grace of learning the lesson of listening to your intuition. I honestly, from this space and vantage point, feel like the universe is like, okay, we're tired of going back and forth with you on this. Like, you have important stuff to do, and we're wasting time trying to get you to learn this elementary concept of listening to us. So we're going to let you have this experience that you apparently need to have. So hopefully you can get it. And by golly, after that experience, I got it. But I'm very grateful even for the experience with him, because it was very challenging. But I recognize that even as challenging as it was not as bad as it could have been, depending on who I was experiencing that with, right? So I'm grateful for all of my teachers and their varying forms, and who I had these experiences with to help me learn the lessons, because that plays a part. And so I'm grateful for my teachers. I recognize that I also am a teacher in some way for some, maybe even the people that I've interacted with so far. I don't know. I don't know what they're here to learn, what their journey is all about. But giving gratitude, offering gratitude, it's all about your perspective. A lot of times we like to be the victim in our stories. We like to, paint this picture of, woe is me. How could this happen to me? Why did they do this to me? But the universe isn't allowing things to happen to you. Things are happening for you, for your development, for your growth, for your expansion. Things are happening for you, for your benefit, not to you, as in a punishment of some kind. Once you decide that you are not a victim, because it is a choice, you have to decide to no longer see yourself as a victim, to no longer see your experiences as things that are happening to you, but rather you being given the opportunity to grow and develop and perfect certain aspects of yourself, within yourself, or for yourself. When you get to that point, then you will be able to really appreciate those who come into your life to help you develop these areas. Sometimes it's very challenging while you're in the midst of it to see it from that perspective. But if you pan out and allow yourself to see the entire situation from a bird's eye view, then it may be easier for you to find appreciation for it. And it can also help you release anger and release bitterness and release resentment for others, because you recognize we're all on journeys learning something. And though they were my teacher in this particular experience, they are having their own experiences where others are showing up as their teacher, right? So there's no need to be angry or resentful or vengeful toward anyone. It really makes a difference in the quality of your life. Harboring bitterness and resentment and anger eats away at the host. Literally, it manifests as things within your body, illnesses, ailments within your body, your psychology. It affects you. And you may not, up until this point, have made the connection, but all is energy. So all of this pent up energy in the form of bitterness, in the form of anger, resentment, or whatever it is, this low vibrating energy that you are harboring within yourself because you don't want to let go of the fact that things aren't happening to you, that they're actually happening for you. And these people didn't do certain things to you, but they are helping you in some way, even in the most challenging of situations. There is something to be learned, right? But when you harbor all of that energy within yourself, that leads to dis-ease within your body. It leads to dis-ease. Dis-ease. A state of not being in flow. And it causes blockages from your energy being able to flow freely. And this causes ailments within us, that we then stuff our face with pills and prescriptions to try to alleviate, when in actuality, there is somebody that you need to forgive in order to loosen that energy up and get that energy moving. There's somebody you need to forgive. There is something that you need to make peace with, an experience that you need to make peace with that is causing this for you. That is what I have found to be the truth. Today, I offer gratitude for all of my teachers and all of the lessons that have contributed to my evolution. If you have made it this far, I invite you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you have not, and share Eagle's View with your friends. Be sure to leave a comment below letting me know what in your life are you finding most challenging to offer appreciation for. What experience are you finding most challenging for you to be able to find some good in that experience and offer appreciation for it? I'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.